Good morning, good day to you as usual, whenever and wherever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. We apologize for delay and interference. Today's teaching is on the back of the past teachings of past few weeks, as in a way we have connected last week how you can take energy using the energies from outside within. In a couple of weeks before, if you remember, I tried to establish for you to understand the position and the possibilities of you as soul, as the soul of man, energy center of the man, are connected to your creator. In the process of the life, in the process of creation, interaction of the higher strength field with the lower strength field leaves residual. And this residual can be anything. Can be another magnetic field, can be a ray, and can be a cosmic ray. And in consideration with the condition of magnetic fields, can be collective, can create gravitation, and at the same time can radiate, what we call magnetical. In the process of life, if you go back to one of the videos of Rick some years ago, if you remember when he used to put magnet on the table, if you have this magnet on the table, and you have other magnets sitting on the table, you'll see they find their space, their position. And if you introduce a small little magnet somewhere into the screen, you see these moving in different direction to accommodate the entrance of this new magnet, even though these magnets could be pieces from the same bigger magnet, broken to pieces. But once you introduce it, the bigger pieces accommodate the small one. Going back to what we thought in the past weeks, we understood in a simple term that the magnetic fields of all is connected to the center one and how they accommodate each other. But even the smaller one has a connection to this structure. They have a connection direct. But even though they connect to the others, or in a way, a field which comes from here can go through the whole lot before connecting to, or in another direction. And again, this itself can be connected to another dimension, to another magnet. Maybe the total interaction of all these fields together leads to creation of what I call this entity. But this new entity itself, to its inherited connection, has a connection with the center, even though it's created by interaction of the others, but it still has to find a position in respect to the center one that allows it to be in that position. I think if you are clever up to now, you understood where I'm going. We see this in a magnet. We see it in a spherical magnets. We see this in planetary system. So what really comes down to, if you really want to boil it down to its ultimate position, ultimate direction, is this is the creator. This could be the galaxies, and this could be other galaxies, and this could be a solar system, and this is the planet. And within the planet, we create lives which they themselves connect to this, and at the same time, by the same principle, have connection to everything else. If you understood this, it's very simple. In all dimensions, in anywhere in the universe, anything created, even the soul of the man, has a direct connection to the Creator. Even though the condition of manifestation of his physicality is dictated, controlled by other factors in the process of the whole creation. We never lose, we have never lost our connection in the line of the connection to our Creator. All these hullabaloo in the name of the religion is all waste of time. It's a robbery of the soul of the man by those who have become the thieves of Baghdad in the name of religions. In the name of the Creator, fancy words, fancy books, and the rest of it. Keshe Foundation is a scientific organization. We are not religious. We understand the physiology of the creation. And if you don't believe what's on the table, go tomorrow morning to a shop, go on whatever you shop from, Amazon and the rest, and buy yourself a bunch of different size of magnets. And put one big one in the center and play the game. And put on one of those magnets, me. And then you see, when you introduce me, how the whole structure of the setting of the magnet changes. Even that little me has a say in the structure. Put one of them Earth, one of them the moon, one of them the galaxy, depending on the magnetic field of, and then you see how the game played. No one can lie to no one. This is the end of religions. Once you understand how you directly are connected to your Creator, but you have to understand how. You have to understand how to tap into this direction of it. You like to go through the, what I call, connection of the Earth, and then the sun, and then the galaxy, and then the universe. That's your prerogative. Call it mullahs, call it priests, call it religion. That's your job to find your way. But you as a person, as a dimension of the soul, have a direct, because it's a field has created you. It's energy within you, understanding and recognizing, am I going direct from A to B, or would I like to go through a lot of proxies? And you have to understand, at every corner of this proxy, there is a thief stealing from you, trusting in yourself, stealing from you the knowledge of the creation, because you have to understand most of these earth does not see that you have the connection to it, because you see yourself going around it. Your God has been how the sun rotates and where the sun is it spring and summer and winter. You alluded that that sun is connected to the operation of the galaxy. We're just a piece of somewhere in galaxy, where in fact our solar system has a effect on how even that galaxy in a bigger scale, doesn't matter, 100 billion stars, positions itself in respect to the center of the system, in respect to the creator of this universe, because this universe itself has a central control with other universes which created it, which again, if you understand it, you even have a connection directly to that center. This, up to now, has been your universe. This new dimension, this new direction, this new understanding, in a way, if you look at it, is the universe. Up to now, the teachings of whatever you believe in has blocked you, has kept you even to see this, let alone this, and understand the work of it. And now, in becoming part of universal community, you become part of the universe, and it's your responsibility about yourself to understand about this. And this is another dimension of knowledge, not dream, of understanding of a bigger fields, how they interact. Man today has been struggling to understand about his life, even about himself in respect to his planet. But if you understood this and you understood the teaching of last week, you understand very simply, when you kill, you take a soul which is connected itself to all dimensions, which itself has a connection to everything else. And you have to understand, in destroying a line, you release a soul. So the whole structure moves. When you learn that source is there for you to connect to the creator of the whole lot, which you have a connection to, why do you bother taking energy from the life, where you can take that energy directly from the fields of the creator, which led to the creation of that? Today we enter the beginning of the spring of 2025. And by the promise of the holy books, if you go to the Christians, to the Muslims, to the Jews, and the rest, in 2025, man will be given the key. Man will understand the totality of this secret. New knowledge, new change, new understanding by totality of the man and the mankind, that allows man to enter the cycle of life. 2025 is in all the holy books, is the year where the change will come. Islamic religion leaders are waiting for it. Christians in Vatican have been prepared for it. Jews have been banging their heads against the wall, and Jewish leaders in Jerusalem are waiting for it. And that promise will be fulfilled. That man will gain knowledge to access the whole structure of understanding. In the next few weeks, we'll go through the cycle of the new years of every religion, and a new cycle completed will start the new religion, the new cycle, the new understanding of totality of science of creation. This is not just what I say. This is just we fulfill the promise. And those who fulfill it is you, your understanding as a man, as a woman, as a child. A new wave of knowledge, a new energy will be released amongst men that upgrades the level of understanding. It's like that you understand how to be a doctor, not by reading the books, by receiving the intellect. Mankind gradually from now on will enter the phase of becoming part of universal community by understanding the work of the universe scientifically. Is not the change will come. From now on, the change has come. And as old saying says, by hook or a crook, by pulling your ear, by dragging you in, by pushing you in, you will learn the knowledge. Mankind will understand the technology, and with it, the technology of the universe, the creation, mankind will open itself to the whole knowledge of universe and the whole dimension and direction of the creation in the universal community. It will not happen in 1 second. Every possible way has to be done, will be created to create that condition. We have started that process in the past few weeks. And what was promised will be fulfilled. In a way, the promise is not the wars between nations and religions. The promise is the peace between the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the man in understanding the transition and transmutation between the two. When man comes to peace on that, man will create no physical wars because he has conflict with him. He lives at the schizophrenic life without accepting the other, leads to wars outside the man itself because he's already have not understood his own internal creation. In understanding this is the responsibility of knowledge seekers. Those of you who've been brought here not by accident, you don't listen to these teachings coincidentally. You are here as part of the structure of the change. Your soul, without knowing, has brought you here because physicality is not aware of it, to become the banner of the knowledge for the rest of humanity. It does not matter if you listen in a farm, you're a professor sitting at the table in the high office, you're a president of a nation, or you're a street cleaner. And you listen to the teachings and you become aware of the teachings, and gradually the phase will come because then your soul will bring you to that position to serve humanity. You heard the voice. Today, your soul has already become a servant to serve the humanity and mankind and the rest of the universal community. Nothing is coincidental. It's that magnet. And with what is on the screen, if you understand it, you don't need no intermediary. Teachers are not the intermediary between you and understanding your science. Teachers are there to show you the path to enjoy the science. As I always said, we are universal teachers. It's for you to access the knowledge and science of the universe. It's for you to understand the process of the creation and to understand the totality of the knowledge. And it's for you to, in a way, bring that day of judgment for yourself. When You accept the presence of the soul and respect the soul of physicality and the physicality and understand the interaction between them. What's been interesting for me for a long time has been that when it comes to our children, we heckle, we fight, we give our lives to save our children. If it's a car is about to hit the child, we jump in front of the car, we push the child away to save that life which we created, but we let our lives go. But what is interesting to me, if we care about this child that we led to his creation, why don't we care about our own soul which led to the creation of us? We have lost the sight and respect for our own creation of dimension of physicality, which is our soul. And we have left it in the hand of thieves in the name of religion, to play with it, to distract us, to take energy from the soul from us. We give our lives to save the life of our children, but we don't literally care about the life which we have given life to as a physical dimension of the man. And when man has respect for his soul, when man has respect for his soul of physicality, when man has respect for his physicality, which is the dimension of interaction of the fields of the Creator, then man will have respect for the whole of creation and his Creator. You don't need to bend to it, you need to stand equal to it. You don't need to bang your head 17 times on the floor every day, or go to the wall and bang it, or use the name of the Christ in every shape or form to do it, but to have respect for yourself within the structure of the internal structure of the man, soul, the soul of physicality and physicality of man. When you respect the soul, you will not call it a dream. When you respect your physicality, you will not let it injure, as the soul will look after it. You get into the accident, the soul will pack it up and present it. You don't go in a state and then you travel and then go, I had a dream. As long as you call it a dream, you're denying that respect. As long as you let that physicality injure, you deny the respect, because the soul is there to do the repair. The soul is there to give it what we call the perfection. And that is your day of judgment. When you judge and respect the whole levels of the creation, starting from your physicality to the soul of physicality, to the soul of the man, to the soul of the universe, and the soul of the Creator. If you understood today, I moved your goalpost by a lot. Up to now, you considered the central point to be where the center of Earth is, and there is a Creator for it somewhere. The totality of the creation sits somewhere else, outside this universe, which leads to the creation of many universes. Now you understand what is on the back of the book 3 for years. I showed you the path through the dimension of magnetic fields to your Creator. And today you understand what that picture means. You always consider that your soul sits outside and they force you to accept it because they can abuse it. If your intelligence within me, I use it to repair my physicality. I use it to enlighten my soul of physicality in the dimension of all cells within my body. And then through it, I tap in through the emotion of the dimension of the soul to understand the totality of the creation. And now the goalpost is moved. You don't look into the center of the universe. You look in what led to the creation of this universe. That's where your creator sits. That's where the original fields and lights came from. Photon is your soul, that light. And your physicality is that matter. And this must answer many scientists. Is the light one or the other? Depends if it's reached dimension of maturity of the gravitational magnetic field of the time, place, and position, you see it as matter. If it is in travel and does not feel in the strength of the time, place, and position, magnetic gravitational field is just a photon, it's just a light. That light, that ray, that you cannot see the pressure of it, you feel it, will manifest itself in another dimension, another strength down the road, in another position in the universe, as a matter which you feel it today, on this planet, time, place, and position. This place, this condition, is not the place for its manifestation according to his field strength. And so shall be the soul of the man. You want to travel in dimension of physicality, or do you want to travel as dimension of light, the soul of the man? And you do not need to destroy the physicality for it to be the light, because when you go in the dimension of light, it'll manifest itself somewhere in another field dimension of strength as entity. This is where your soul will end up, in a position, and a position of the time, place, and condition. And you educating yourself about this point will tell you, you decide how to elevate where that soul will land in this universe, or in the much higher strength universe, in another dimension, place, and position, or even in the dimension and strength of the field of the Creator. This is what I say to you all the time. Understand the knowledge, and then in the journey from this to this and to this, you will not come across more crooks, charlatans, and others in the name of different prophet and religions on the path, because you did not understand. We educate you to the totality that there is no more highway robbers and Robin Hoods on this way in the name of the religions, and the mullahs, ayatollahs, priests, rabbis, and the rest. Those ayatollahs, mullahs, priests, and others, once they enlightened and understand of their own path, they will guide you directly to the source. And they put their turbines and the hats and the hoods and the rest of it down as they become another man in a path to the Creator. You got to understand, from now on, is you who decides your future in the universal community, and nobody else. And in a way, you have to educate yourself in the conditions and dress yourself according to the knowledge you have. In the winter, you do not go out with swimwear in the snow. In the universe, you do not go to another position when you don't understand the condition of interaction of the physicality of the fields of the plasma of the universe. You can test as many times as you like. You can do as much as you like, but you have to understand from now on, you are responsible for it. You stand for every action of it, and you are nothing but an intermediary between your soul and soul of physicality. In so many ways, mankind has to be kind to himself to become kind to the others. You got to understand that the source of the problem of the man has been from the time when the man became physical. And those who understood the attachment of the man to physicality created religions to abuse the man. And those who ended up following them created more problems for them. As such, for the man to benefit themselves. And our job as teachers is to show you the path. It's for you to choose the path, not for us to enforce the path. As the freedom of the choice brings the variation and beauty of the creation of the Creator. As a teacher, I can show you everything about the electronics. It's you who makes a sender and receiver, which is more powerful, more effective, with different strengths and different attributes. We show you the components. It's you how you put it together and how you apply it to enjoy it and how to, with it, elevate your understanding of the process. It is interesting to be part of human race, to see the weaknesses of the human race, to be able to save the human race from its own dilemma, its own pitfalls, its own shortcoming, and its own dimension of understanding. And I hope we manage to strengthen this. We manage to understand this as part of the structure of the change which is set for man to come, to complete, and in so many ways to see the future of mankind by man himself. Then you understand why we gave you the example of the apple and the example of how you can take the energy from the apple without destroying it by using the magnetical gravitational fields, where the magnetical fields of it feed you, where its gravitational field takes from you what you don't need. Very interesting point if you understood the teaching of last week. I give you an apple. You touch it. I give 10 of you apples. You touch it. And see which apple lasts longer, which apple rots first, which apple shrivels first, which apple shows different texture. And then you don't blame it on the environment. It's what you gave it, which gives it that information, that energy. A joyful living life, you give it life because what you don't, what in a way you have so much of, you give to it, and you give life to that. When I gave you the example of the apple last week, that you take from what you need, remember one thing, it's taken from you what you do not need and what you have extra. And if you gave it joy, this is what I always said, when you touch something, it makes me happy to receive this. If it is within you, it's the same. If you give that much to that apple, you'll make it rot, you'll make it shrivel, you make it become much better than before, because that touch, you gave the kiss of life. You gave the information, you gave the energy which you don't need. And so, if you want to see that apple thrive and be there for centuries, you have to understand what you give: joy, pleasure, life. That I'm not there to take, I'm there to give you, because then somebody else, when touches that apple, does the same. It becomes the essence of life. Don't look what you take, look what you give. That what you give doesn't become the source of the demise of the other which receives it. That's more important than what you receive, even though you might receive none. But watch that apple, how fast it's destroyed. Watch the apple, how long it lasts on that table. Then you know the true yourself. Am I the real giver? Am I there to enlighten, to give life to, or am I just a sucker to take? And I still play angels. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next few minutes, I'll leave you for about 10 or 15 minutes. Is my root seeds within the belief of trust. And I love and live through Mitra. Those of you who were with us last year in Sanya, we celebrated together the coming of the spring, during the new year. We have celebrated this day for thousands of years. The science of man could measure to the second when the winter finishes and earth enters the spring. And today falls round about 1 minute past 10. And I usually spend this time with my family. I leave you for a few minutes with Rick to play an intro while we celebrate the coming of the new year. I will come back around about 5 or 10 minutes after 10, when the actual time of the change is just about around a few seconds from now. And I wish you all a beautiful year and a wonderful coming of the new year.